Hi, and welcome back to the Positive Prepper. So today I want to talk about the movie that was on Netflix called Leave the World Behind. And a lot of people didn't understand it. It seemed confusing, kind of chaotic. But I think it was pretty relevant as far as the prepping community goes. The family in this movie obviously were not preppers in the essence that we know it. But Julia Roberts, who plays the main character in it, she talked about things like, well, should we be filling the bathtub and, collecting water, and what do we have for food? Should we be going and getting food, and, etc. But there's one specific point, and if you haven't watched the movie, it's on Netflix. It's called Leave the World Behind. I think it's worth watching. It's gotten a lot of bad reviews on it, I think just because of the confusing nature of it. But there were some really good points that came out of it if you're looking at it from a prepper standpoint. At one point in the movie, George says to, and I can't think of what his name is offhand, but the dad, he says there are 3 phases, because he has friends in the upper echelons of like the FBI or whatever. He said there's 3 phases. The first one is isolation, so like the internet's down, cyber attacks, that type of thing. The second phase is coordinated misinformation, coordinated chaos, right? Get everybody against each other. And then the third phase was taking the government out from the inside, which would lead to civil war, which is a movie coming out in the spring that I am going to go see in the theater. But I disagree with George in this narrative. So he says, again, the first phase is isolation. So the internet's down, could be that the power grid is down, cyber attacks on banking systems, water treatment facilities, the power grid. And then the second phase, because in the movie, this airplane comes and drops off these leaflets, kind of like during World War II. These leaflets are in Arabic, but the character that Kevin Bacon plays, he knows a guy that was in San Diego, and they were dropped off. These same leaflets were dropped off in like Italian or something. I think, for me personally, that these 2 phases need to be switched around. Okay? So rather than the isolation phase being number 1, I think that the first phase is that coordinated misinformation and coordinated chaos. And I think that we're already seeing that. So the left would have you believe right now that Biden's doing just fine. There's nothing wrong with him cognitively. He's doing everything right as far as border security, which is coming up in a video real soon. That he's doing everything right. They don't want to talk about his cognitive decline. They also don't want to be honest and truthful about the war between Ukraine and Russia, or what's going on in Iran, or what's going on between Israel and Hamas. They don't want to be honest about it. So, and then, we have all of these pro-Palestinian they call them, there's just these groups of people out there protesting, right, in support of Palestine, but they're actually chanting anti-Israel stuff, right? But the media is portraying this in a very soft way. They're not showing the cries for, Allah Akbar, or death to Israel, or any of that stuff. They are portraying this in a way that creates a coordinated misinformation. And that's what, with all of it, we're also getting coordinated chaos. They are trying everything they can in the books right now to get us to go against each other. Blacks versus whites, Democrats versus Republicans, pro-Israeli versus pro-Palestinian. Okay? They are trying everything they can. Biden versus Trump. They're trying to get everybody to go after each other. That's the coordinated misinformation, the coordinated chaos. I believe that comes first. They want us to be at each other's throats, because then who do you trust? I have a very dear friend of ours, myself and Mr. Positive Prepper, who he voted for Biden, right? The misinformation and the coordinated chaos is trying to get us to hate him simply because of what he believes. We're not going to do that. He's a very good friend of ours. We are not going to hate him or go against him because of what he believes. But that's what they want. Okay? You have, and again, some of this is coming out in a video within the next few days about, all of these illegal immigrants, basically this foreign army. You have a lot of people that are in support of that. Oh, we want to welcome them. And the people that said that are now saying, no, we can't take any more. Right? So now you have these people in these blue cities like New York and Chicago saying, no, we can't take any more. So there's more chaos. Remember that none of this happens unless somebody wants it to. They want us to be against each other for every possible reason. And then phase 2 comes along, where now we become isolated, whether it's because the internet goes down, an EMP attack, cyber attacks, whatever it may be. But they've already done the psychological warfare to turn everybody against each other. And now they're going to isolate you. So you've already got it in your head who the enemy is. Remember my last video. Remember who the real enemy is. But they want you to get in your head who the enemy is. So now we're going to isolate you. And then the third phase is within the United States. We have a civil war because nobody can remember who the actual enemy was. And this isn't just in the United States. This is happening around the world. It's happening in the UK. It's happening in Canada, which I will talk about in a video upcoming in the next couple of days. It's happening around the world. The global elites, the powers that be, want the entire world in this coordinated chaos. And having this coordinated misinformation go out so that we are against each other, and then they come in and isolate. You already have that preconceived notion of who you should be going against. So what do we as preppers do? Number one, I recommend watching Leave the World Behind. It is kind of a slow movie, But if you look at it from a prepper standpoint, there's a lot to be gained from that. But one of the other things is don't take things at face value, whether it's the media. Excuse me, I don't care if it's mainstream media, Fox News, Sky News, Newsmax, whatever your main news source is. Don't take what they say at face value. You need to go in and do your research. You need to kind of pay attention, and I've said this in many videos, not just to what's being said, but to what's not being said. If the same narrative is being word by word propagated among different media sources, I would not take that as true information. It came from a source that they want all these other people to regurgitate, right? So then you have to go back to that source and you have to disseminate that, and you have to look at whether it's real or not real, right? Kind of like in the Hunger Games, real or not real. The second thing is question everything. And that kind of goes hand in hand. Okay? We are sending billions, and that's billions with a B, to countries all over the world to propagate wars that we should not be involved in. And I'm speaking from the United States patriot perspective. When we have veterans that are being kicked out of hotels so that illegal immigrants can come in, there's a reason for that. Nothing happens unless somebody wants it that way. Nothing is a coincidence. So start doing your research. The Bible says use discernment. And that's going to be especially important when it comes to the second coming of Christ. You're going to have people coming and saying, I am the Messiah. And people that can't use discernment and don't know their Bible are going to fall into that coordinated misinformation. So you have to learn discernment. Don't ever take things at face value. Do your own research. Question everything. And I think I said in either my last video or the one before that even if an SHTF happens and you're calling your local law enforcement agency, you don't know that that's truly a law enforcement person from your county that's answering that phone call at that point. So you need to pay. It's kind of like scam emails, right? When you get scam emails, a lot of times words are spelled wrong, or they're not using the right grammar. You kind of know that, wait, this wasn't from Amazon. It's no different. You got to make sure that the sources you're getting your information from stay within the boundaries of what is normal for your area. And this is globally, whether you're in the UK, Australia, Canada, United States, Portugal, I don't care where you are. You need to use that discernment and make sure that the news that you are getting, you are following up on and doing research and making sure that it's the truth. So I will be putting out 3 more videos probably soon in the next few days. I have had so much that I've needed to say, but sorting through all of it and trying to figure out what the important parts are can be a little bit daunting. But I think I've nailed it down to at least 4 at the moment. More will come. So stay safe, stay aware, and God bless.